1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is a recruitment stand for the Loudspeaker Liberation Army. So, give me your loudspeakers and I will give you freedom. Fucking loudspeakers are stuck inside your houses and don't do anything. You stick them in your, I don't know where you stick them in. You stick them in the corners of your apartment and they just hang out there and you just play your music through them. But that's not a good life for a loudspeaker. Loudspeaker needs life and excitement. Loudspeaker needs movement. Loudspeaker needs space. That's the way I feel about it. 1982, West Berlin. These people start sticking loudspeakers onto their jackets and hanging out in streets. There's also young, poor artists that don't know what to do about themselves, so they start putting loudspeakers onto their clothes. This is slowly turning into a movement. The advantage is in 1982 that boom boxes came on the market, so you could stick a boom box onto your hat, and your hat would play the sounds for you, which is kind of nice. So your loudspeaker is getting excited. Like I said, we are interested in loudspeakers. We want the freedom for the loudspeakers. Then you get groups of people that are interested in subversive actions in the street. I call them audio guerrilla groups. We get a bunch of people together, friends. We get jackets and we stick loudspeakers onto them. And then we hit the streets. Actually, we hit the vernissages at art openings. And we're really obnoxious and we're having a really good time. But we are the loudspeaker group. It's not one loudspeaker person, it's 4 loudspeaker person. In this case, each one makes his own sound. We had the advantage at that time that Walkmans came onto the market. So instead of a boom box, you have a Walkman. You can put a Walkman inside your jacket and play your Walkman. But what you need is a concept for these type of things, or you want to infiltrate society. So what do? You dress up your loudspeaker inside a kind of strange kind of jacket. This is called the audio herd. The audio herd goes into parks, plays animal sounds, multi-acoustic animal sounds, and walks around like a normal herd of animals. But in this case, we're multi-acoustic, playing cow sounds in the pastures, moving on to other sections of a park, but essentially entertaining people. And like I said, the loudspeakers are moving, and we're giving them a chance to really do their stuff. You can see that the amplifiers on the back of the jackets, and you can see that the loudspeaker is inside the jacket. So, as I said, we're infiltrating, we're working the public spaces, we're multi-acoustic. This is the audio herd. They play animal sounds and they walk around. Berlin audio subway controllers. In the subway controller in subways in Berlin in 1987, you have the Germans telling you, Einsteige bitte zurückbleiben. So what do? We record the sound of the Einsteige and we go inside the subways. This is really being kind of anarchy. Here you go. These are fake controllers, okay? Germans like to tell you when to get on the train and when to get off the train. We also work with sports groups. Instead of them taking drugs, we give them loudspeakers. So you have groups of cyclists, and we give them loudspeakers, and they play sounds, and they choreograph the sounds with their races around cities. So these guys, they're working their way. Choreography, multi-acoustic, that means each person wears a loudspeaker. So you have a group of people wearing loudspeakers, and they choreograph themselves through cities. In this case, these are racers. These are all real sounds, okay? This is all recorded live.
Voilà, devant, Montelle-Doucet, le double Europe.
So, but what you really want to do when you have an audio jack is you want to be able to play your own sounds. You want to give that loudspeaker real life, which means not just playing recordings. You want to be able to play live sounds through it. You want to use microphones, contact microphones. These are the Guitar Monkeys. Guitar Monkeys was a band where each person had an acoustic guitar amplified with a piezo microphone, and it was a band that could move. It didn't need a PA system because they were the PA system. These are the instruments that the Guitar Monkeys used, different from flea market and microphone attached to them. And the advantage, of course, is this band does not have to hang out on stage. This band can use rooms. Rooms is about acoustic, and we are invading acoustic. We are going inside the spaces. We're spreading the sounds around. This is a stairwell. Here you go. Musician has his own amplifier and his own guitar. This is the heat of Berlin Atonal.
Jeder spielt über seine eigenen Kleider sein Geräusch. Der Ausdruck ist Chaos, die zerstörte Welt.
Here's a guitar fuck. What is also okay. So we have different units in our army. We have the Amazons, the audio ballerinas. They are, as they are women, they're very intelligent. They work very fast, and they're beautiful, of course. So instead of just hiding our loudspeakers inside clothes, we make it obvious. Here you have the audio ballerinas, 1990. The first audio tutus were built using solar energy, so they didn't even need any batteries. The advantage was that we could also add other instruments onto the tutus, not just playing, of course we don't play cassettes anymore, now we're just playing live sounds. And the main instrument was a sampler, so they could sample sounds and play them back. We use light sensors. Can you please be quiet in the back? I'm trying to talk here. And this is, of course, a multi-talent instrument. The main advantage is you're using a sampler, so you can pick up sounds from your environment and you can play them back. In this case, a audio ballerina recording an instrument and playing it back. In which case, of course, when you have audio Amazons taking over cities, then actually we were creating flash mobs in 1991. Using radio receivers, people decided that these were spontaneous demonstrations. Excuse me. Spontaneous demonstrations. But the main thing is you can steal sounds. In one case, you have here on the left, ballerinas recording a yodeler lady in Munich, and then sampling her and playing her back. On the right, you have a ballerina in St. Petersburg recording Lenin's piano and playing it back. We have Australia, where we're working with local didgeridoo players. And of course, we work with also saxophone players so that we can use their sounds and turn it into a multi-acoustic concert. This guy was just hanging out at the train station. They're changing the sounds themselves, you know. Okay, move on. The line, scratching the earth. In this case, they're using contact microphones, and they can follow lines on the ground, and it's like a record player, and they just amplify that sound. They're our elite group, these girls. They're really good. Using light to create sound. They have light sensors that can change light into sound. And as I said, they're using them themselves. Their movement changes the sound, and the light is what's giving the sound. Sensors are in their hands. I'm sorry, I have to move along. I have a very strict, and I only have 3 minutes to do this. So they also use children's pianos to create sounds also. In this case. We have individual warriors. We have certain dancers that just Amazons that just they want to do their own thing, and we build them actually instruments for them individually. Sometimes building loudspeakers on the back because they cannot move with the tutus, so they wear a backpack jacket and they can do their solo performances with them. These are remarkable people. You have Feedback Fred, who wears a loudspeaker on his back and uses feedback for his actions. And of course, feedback is interaction of the loudspeaker and the microphone. So he's got to move around a lot.
Biarritz was a quiet place. I emphasize quiet because, as you'll hear, sound is crucial to this story. Anyway, apart from the twittering of birds and the occasional chimes from the clock tower, nothing much disturbed this tranquil village just outside Berlin. But then one day, a stranger appeared.
Here's Fred.
And I mean strange. That gentleman, who goes by the name of Feedback Fred, stands at the dawn of a new era in ear usage, using noise as art.
We have international splitter groups, the audio geishas in Tokyo, where we using samplers to create new kimonos, also with a sampler effect. So I gotta go through here because they're not giving me enough time. Audio guards in Oslo, where they have microphones in their shoes and in their umbrellas. We don't use weapons; we use sound. We work in the countryside too, so this is the audio peacock. The audio peacock, instead of just using feathers, has a whole costume with a lot of amplification and the loudspeakers. You can work with light effects on your costume, so we turn this costume actually into a video peacock. Ten minutes? So I only got 10 minutes, so I'm going to move forward. We work with folklore groups in Germany, in this case using light and sound effect. A light changes the sound. The accordion player is being amplified directly through the costumes of these dancers, and also the light is affected by that. Okay, once more, guitar monkeys. So what's really important about the Liberation Army is that we're really interested in giving loudspeakers a chance to use their effects. In this case, feedback is very, very important. Larsen is the same effect as feedback. And we also build fortresses. We use loudspeakers. We get thousands of loudspeakers, and we create monumental sculptures so that we can protect ourselves. But the advantage is that we are recycling loudspeakers. We are not leaving the loudspeakers. I care for loudspeakers. The group is most important loudspeakers. And we recycle them. That we make buildings out of them. And people can call up these sculptures and talk through them.
Art und Weise vermitteln, beziehungsweise ist es toll, dass dies auch schön gewährt wird, auf diese Art und Weise sich verabschieden zu können. Und es wird auch definitiv kein Abschluss immer, hoffe ich zumindest. Und ja, würde mich freuen, wenn ich alle bald wiedersehe. Und wünsche allen aus dem Team alles Gute, viel Gesundheit und weiterhin den Erfolg, den sie sowieso schon haben. Genau. In diesem Sinne, auf Wiedersehen.
Benoit, geht das? Benoit? Wink mal, wenn's geht.
So I was invited by the Remake Festival here because we're into recycling funky electronics. All this electronics does not cost anything. We get it from recycled suppliers. It all works. I call my studio a home for homeless loudspeakers.
Art und Weise vermitteln, beziehungsweise ist es toll, dass diese Option gewährt wird, auf diese Art und Weise sich verabschieden zu können. Und es ist auch definitiv kein Abschied auf immer, hoffe ich zumindest. Und ja, würde mich freuen, wenn ich alle bald wiedersehe. Und wünsche allen aus dem Team alles Gute, viel Gesundheit und weiterhin den
As
Erfolg,
an artist,
den
it's
wir
very
schon
important
haben.
to use the materials,
Genau.
to
In diesem
use
Sinne,
modern
auf
materials.
Wiedersehen.
And essentially, modern materials are electronics. All this stuff gets thrown out into
Wink mal, wenn's geht.
recycling or garbage cans. I use it as the clay for my sculptures. It doesn't cost anything. It's all out there.
Danke.
Und es ist auch definitiv kein Abschied auf immer, hoffe ich zumindest. Und ja, würde mich freuen, wenn ich alle bald wiedersehe. Und wünsche allen aus dem Team alles Gute, viel Gesundheit und weiterhin den Erfolg, den wir sowieso schon haben. Genau. In diesem Sinne. Auf Wiedersehen.
What's better for a public sculpture when the sculpture talks itself? When the public can use the sculpture itself as an open system for calling it up and talking through it. What's better than using sound as sculpture? Sound is a three-dimensional sculpture that's perceivable by the ear. What's better than using art as materials that are free, that exist everywhere? We reconstructed the Berlin Wall into a speaker's wall. This was a project I developed in 1985 when I was living in West Berlin. In this case, we had 1,000 loudspeakers and we rebuilt the Berlin Wall using an original section of the Berlin Wall. And people could call up this wall and talk through it for 3 minutes.
Un mur qui se fend, se craquelle, s'effrite. Friture. Se nitrifie et je me suis raté. Désolé. Il y a des murs qui se dressent, qui s'élèvent, qui prennent leur élan et qui bloquent les gens. Et puis qui tombent, qui s'effondrent. Se désagrègent, s'affaissent, s'éboulent, s'écroulent. Des murs qui se fendent, se craquellent, s'effritent, se friturent, se nitrifient. Des murs qui se fendillent, se lézardent, et qui menacent de s'écrouler, qui tombent en ruine, et qui enfin libèrent les gens. C'est un message de soutien pour le printemps arabe.
So these are people that are calling up the sculpture and talking through it for 3 minutes. It's uncensored and it's live.
Allô, et c'est en vie directement avec mon handy.
Fin du message.
We work with sponsors. Sponsors provide us all these loudspeakers. They're thrown away by society. We build sculptures out of them. These are former telephone receivers from East Germany used by the secret police in East Berlin. In this case, they're offering, they're downloading job offers from the internet. And they're set up as asparagus fields in this area of Germany.
30 Augenlicht-OLS, Piep- und Bereitschaft zur Schichtdienst für die Bewachung von Baustellen im Raum Jüterböck-Luckenwalde. Bitte registrieren Sie mich. Vollzeit befristet 1 Jahr ab 1. Juni 2008 Bewerbung im Abruf von Arbeitgeberswiese. Ortsweg 102 bis 108, 14.478 Potsdam, Frosbach, 923.v. Wir suchen dringend Berater für Esoterik, Flirt und Dating- und Online-Bewerbung unter Warentum.
Berlin Mit reply to job 675,124. Craigslist.org.
Audio Igloo, a home for homeless loudspeakers. Audio Guillotine, this is the last part of the presentation. I love loudspeakers. They're there. We use them. I respect them.
Bezug zu lokale Ergebnisse.
Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm in the back recruiting.